Hey everyone, welcome back. Today we have a very special guest speaker all the way from Israel.
That's right. Her name is Shaylee Ronen, and she's here for a year on a very important mission. Listen up.
Welcome to the Mommy Life Squad podcast, where we talk about
Everything women want to hear about,
which may get controversial,
but definitely inspirational, so stay tuned. Okay, so today we have Shaylee. Shaylee, tell me your last name again.
Ronen.
Ronen. Yeah. All the way from Israel.
It's not Ronen, it's Ronen.
Ronen. Sorry. All the way from Eretz Israel, from Israel. Wow. And actually, this is our first guest from Israel. And so we're very honored, right? We were always trying to look for that one person who could tell us whatever's going on in Israel and keep us updated and informed and be on our podcast. And here you are. And I found Shaylee at a school that I was at. She was giving a class to the students talking about what her mission is here in America. So go ahead and take us back to that.
Well, maybe first we could
tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, tell us about yourself first, like where you grew up, where you're from. We just said Israel, but maybe a little bit more. You don't have to tell us your address, but
where on the map?
Where on the map?
So I grew up in Kiryat Ono. It's a small city close to Tel Aviv, about like 20 minutes, really close to Bnei Brak. And I have one brother and one sister. My brother is 15 and my sister is 11. And I came to America through this program called I'm a Shinshinit. Well, Shinshinit in Hebrew is Shnat Shirut, which is a service year. There are people who are doing their Shinshinim also in Israel and also in America. It's kind of special what we do. It's through the Jewish agency, and I kind of find out about it when my friend did it in London. There's this program is like the whole world, not only America, but through Europe, Australia, South Africa.
So this program sends people from Israel to different countries to educate.
Yeah, work with Jewish communities, to help them connect more to Israel. Right. So it's I finished high school last year, so I'm only 18.
Oh my gosh,
wow.
You can't even tell, right?
You're very mature. Okay.
Yeah, and I came here when I was 17 because
wow.
a year before, but it was it's only 1 year. Like I came here in August and I'm leaving next August.
Can I just ask, are your parents American? Because you don't have you really speak English so well.
Perfectly. I asked you that too, remember?
No, my parents were not American. They just really pushed for us to learn English good. We had private teachers. She was Australian. She was really on the English.
I actually hear an Australian accent a little bit.
Is your mom Australian?
No,
but I hear it a little bit. That's
your
funny.
teacher was.
Yeah,
I thought she said her mom was. I was like, yeah, I do hear a little bit of that.
Right?
That's
and
funny.
it was she was not there. She was really sitting on us for us to have a good English. And
That's
I really
great.
think it's good. Also
great.
in high school, I studied diplomacy, which is just all in English. It was just another English curriculum to do. And because I think it's really important. I didn't really know what I'm gonna do in the future, but I just know that working with English was something that you have to do with most of the works that you do. No matter if you work with every job,
you know it so well. It's really great.
Yeah,
it includes English.
Yeah.
So
I wish my kids knew Hebrew this well.
I know, right?
I wish I knew Hebrew this well.
Right. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, so I'm very happy. Also here was you really you talk English every day. The families that I'm with, it's only English. So
did the program place you with families or Yeah.
So the program is kind of responsible. They give us a car, which is really nice because in LA you can't be without a car.
Yeah.
And they give us host families, the facilities that we work in, the school that I work in, they are responsible to provide me families. Usually I stay with a family about 3 months, and it's just family from the school. So I know the kids from school, and it's really nice. So I've been in 3 families.
So you keep switching around?
Yeah, it's hard because I live by suitcases and I had to buy another suitcase because I'm buying so much stuff.
But you said it's students who are. Who are these families? I'm confused.
It's families from the school, their kids.
So
are
you're
going to
assigned to a certain school. Is that how the program works?
Yeah, usually it's schools, but it's also I work with a school and I work with organization. I work with STEM with us. Organization that fights anti-Semitism, and I work in the department there for education for middle schools.
Wow.
So it's kind of and some other kids so I'm not here on my own. I have other like 10 shinshinim. We're like 10 shinshinim in LA. Wow. So it's really nice. Like everyone, some of them live like in different places.
So do you like meet up with them? Like
like we have every week we have a meeting with like our supervisor, and we work on like stuff. Like last Monday we had an event like for Yom HaZikaron at the Federation, kind of like talking about how it is for us, and we had like a panel with questions with them. It was really kind of like emotional, really nice to do that. So it's also like working with the community there. So there are people who work at the Federation, at the Israeli Scouts, at like other activities. So not only schools, but most of them we working with like day schools or religious schools.
And did you have to apply for this? Like,
okay. It was a really long process. Like I started doing that in junior year, at the end of junior year, and it kind of took like half a year to just like do the whole process, because you come, you have a day, you have interviews, you have like a lot of things that you have to go through, and then like I didn't choose to go to LA. It was kind of assigned.
They placed you.
Yeah,
they placed you there.
So I'm very happy that I'm here.
LA is great.
Yeah, it's the best.
I'm dying to know. Like Rena got to sit through one of your lectures. Can you give us like a taste of what your lecture is like? Maybe like a snippet of what you talk about, like a summary of it, kind of? Yeah.
So what I'm trying to do most in my classes is just to think how I can bring my story into the classroom, because teachers can talk about Israel, can give facts. Like I don't care about the normal facts that you can find online. I want to give them something that they couldn't find online. I want to give them something like from my story, from my life. And I did a class about Yom Ha'atzmaut and Yom HaZikaron, and I shared about how that day looks in Israel, like what exactly is happening, and I showed them pictures and videos.
You want to tell us a little bit?
Yeah, so like in Yom HaZikaron, we do a lot of events in my city, and I was in the Scouts, and we have an event called Memoran, which is a running and kind of like a memorial event that we all wear white shirts, and we all write a soldier name on the shirt and put a picture of him, and we run like throughout the whole city. And we finished this run at a place called Gana Giborim, which is the Heroes Park. It's like there's a park of this in every city. It's kind of like a monument for all the fallen soldiers from that city. Wow. It was really emotional just to tell them and show them like things that
for the parents that were there also.
Yeah, so we do like to honor them. Because it's like we always try and find ways to keep remembering them, and like there's like many different ways that people are doing it. If it's like recipes for soldiers, like every soldier that fallen has like a special recipe for them. If it's running, like people like trying to find stuff different that they like to connect it.
Wow. So did this mean that being on this program here in America means it pushed off your service for the Army 1 year?
Yeah.
And so did you have to weigh that out? Like, is it something that you didn't want to run into the Army right away? You wanted to do this?
Yeah. So it was a hard decision, but I was really wanted to do it. So I was like, it doesn't matter for me. I think that I need like some time before I draft into the Army. Like I want to like learn more and develop more as a person. I think that was like the best opportunity ever to do it. And there is like some like benefits and like not benefits, because you're gonna draft a year later. Like all of my friends are now in the Army, and they're gonna like leave the Army a lot sooner than me, even a year before.
It's like going like a year later to college. That's what it is.
Right. Wow.
Exactly.
It's like
and I'm gonna serve in the Army for 3 years, and some of my friends serving 2 years. So it's like they're gonna.
And this is all right now. What you're doing is all volunteer work. It's not like you're getting paid for it.
I'm not getting.
You're here as a volunteer.
Yeah, and I think it's not about them. It's like I think the values and the things that I learn here are like I couldn't buy it with any money.
Yeah,
like
you couldn't replace that. Right?
It's like I am so happy that I did it. It's like they send you for 1 year to be like very independent, because like I didn't know anyone when I came here. It's like you come and you don't have your parents, you don't have your friends. Just you really have to find your way. And I'm very happy because I feel like it is making me more mature and more independent. And like I felt like I was missing it, because like I'm at home with my family, like everything was like
given to you.
It was easy, and I wanted like to challenge myself, and I wanted to develop more and to see what I'm really like, what's really interests me. and I'm like more than happy that I did it. It was a hard year. It was really a hard year because like everything just mixed up and everything that happened in the war in Israel.
Yeah.
But
So maybe you could touch on that a little bit because Rena told me that you are actually here during October 7th. So how was that for you?
And did you know anyone at the Nova Festival?
Were you nervous about her family? Like,
yeah, I remember when it started.
How did you hear about it?
So I saw on my phone, I have all the notification, like all the like red alerts. I have it on my phone. I don't know. I just have it because like from when it was in Israel, and I saw.
You get like Israeli notifications.
Yeah,
like if there's anything like.
I get everything. Okay. Like till now, I have like all the news. Like always get notification just like to see what's going on, and I can't turn it off.
You're very connected there. Yeah.
Yeah, I just feel like wrong not knowing what happened. I feel like it's not okay. So I saw a notification and saw like sirens at Otefaza. And I was like, and then I saw out of Rishon LeZion, which was like more in the central. I was like, wait, something is strange here. Like the Otefaza, it's like, okay, that happens sometimes like
but Rishon LeZion is like
I was like, Rishon LeZion, that's central. And then I was like, what's happening? I looked and I was like, another. I'm like, like that. And then I saw my city and then I just like called my parents and I was like, what's up? Like they didn't even know, like I knew before them.
Wow.
I remember I was just like, we were at dinner and like I went to the side and I was like, I started crying because I didn't know what happened. I don't really react like this to things, but I remember like we were driving home and I see this, like there was on Instagram, the thing, they were like flying in and I was like, I felt like I was in a movie. I was like, I can't believe that this is happening. I was like in total shock. I was like, couldn't sleep all night, like watching the news.
Was the Nova Festival something you've ever heard about before or gone to or?
No, I never heard of that before actually.
It wasn't a new thing. Was it new?
No, I think they do it every year, right?
It's like a production company that does like a lot of music. I never heard of that before actually.
Okay.
It's not like
and you didn't have friends who were there?
No, usually like people that went there like 20 something. But it was kind of stressful because I know like my friends are in the army, like all the kids that are in my grade like joined the army.
It's their first year there.
Yeah. And one of my friends was from my class, she was Tetzpitanit. It's a job in the position in the army when they are supposed to protect the borders. They have like cameras and they need to check, and she just joined the army in August and she had like her basic training, and then you do like a special training for the position, and then she was in Nahal Oz. She was like sent there, and she was sent there on.
Wait, wasn't Nahal Oz like right near?
Yeah,
that was like right there.
It's like one of the.
So she was at the border.
Yeah, and she was sent there on Wednesday, and it happened on Saturday. She just
started there. Wow.
She just started there, and I remember when like my friends started writing me like, and I saw on Instagram was like, because on that week that happened, all of Instagram was like missing person. If you see anything, all of Instagram, all my friends, everyone that I know of Israel was like posting different. It was a chaos. Like what happened there was a chaos. Everyone was just keep posting. People, if you find him, if you know any information, please contact that. I was like, wow. what's going on? And
did your friends survive there or like
no? So
oh my gosh.
So we didn't really. It was like we're starting to hear like nobody heard from her, and there, people were starting like posting like she was missing and like we need to find her. I remember like all my friends were like posting like, and I didn't know if it was help, but then like on Wednesday we got the news that they found her body.
Oh my gosh.
And I remember when I heard it, I was like, I couldn't really process it. I was like making my breakfast, going to school, and I'm like, so it was just like.
It's also probably like, why am I here? Like I need to be back with my family and friends, and
it's like I don't want them to like. I feel bad that like my friend has experienced this like without being there, without like hugging her friends, it was kind of like really hard. Like I remember going to school and I was just like when I was like crying in the car, and I was like getting to the school, and like my principal was like, what's happened? And when everyone asked me what's happened, I'm just like start crying, and I don't know why, and like I couldn't.
That's your friend. That's really hard. Wow.
I was like I couldn't understand it, and I don't think that it really like I don't think I will ever understand it. Like, I think it's just started kind of to understand it at Yom HaZikaron. It was, I didn't really know what to expect from it, because I was just like, but it was probably one of the hardest days that I ever had here, because I felt so wrong. I don't know why. I felt like being here was wrong, that I need to do, like, we had like events and ceremonies. I feel like last year I did so much thing, and I tried to do here, but it was like just like
here Yom HaZikaron is not this. It's not like
nothing.
I felt like devastated. I don't know why. I was like, just felt so wrong, like I'm doing something wrong. And I remember I called my mom. I was like, Mom, I feel wrong. I feel like I was like, are you kidding me? Like, look at what you're doing. She was trying to look at this amazing year. Like, we need you. Like, I'm proud of you. And like,
she was probably relieved that you weren't actually in the army. And that's also stay where you are.
Yeah, like all of our parents, like, I'm so relieved. Like, you're there right now. Like, we're not. We want to be there. And I think like this whole year, and I can tell you that last year I was just like, throughout my whole life, I was like, I want to live abroad. I want to move abroad. I know I had like this thing that I love traveling. And another one of the reasons that I did this, like, I want to see everything.
Where you're going to end up.
Yeah. And when I came here, I really realized that I don't want to live anywhere else in Israel.
Wow.
Yeah. It was.
Oh,
don't
you want to stay in Israel? You're saying it's so
but
interesting.
Don't you
Everyone
find
says that? Yeah.
Like it's only Israel and only Jews, by the way. Like that, a war could happen, people die, and like
they still want to go back.
No, if anything, more people moved to Israel. More people made Aliyah. This is only in the Jewish. Like
there's such a pull to be in our country. Like I don't have that. Do you have that? I feel so guilty to say that. Like we've been to Israel many times, Tikva and I, but like, do you feel? I don't know. I feel guilty saying this on. Maybe you're gonna have to edit this out, but like, I just feel like it's a very hard lifestyle.
We're not used to
We're very
that.
spoiled here.
Yeah.
We have Instacart. We get food delivered to our house.
To our houses. We don't have to go up and down steps. Like you know, and just besides for that, like I know that every Israeli, will always say, "What do you mean? It's safer there than it is here." But I don't know. I just like you see the news and you're like, we feel safer here, but I know deep down that they are safer there. But I don't
just
get
in general
how they
lifestyle. I know is there. Even like I went 2 weeks last year, and we stayed in my sister-in-law's apartment, and it was just the lifestyle is so different. And like it's very different if you're not raised there. It's very hard to like adapt. But I also think that like choosing the right location of like where you feel like you fit in is important. I know that like I don't know if necessarily I will live in Harnof, but like it's too much.
Well, if there's more Americans around you, you're more comfortable where you're at. Yeah. Is that what it's about? Yeah.
No, it's the feel. I'm very into nature, and I need to see nature, and that's very much building like, and I can't. Maybe I'll move to, who knows, somewhere near the water.
But I'm not surprised to hear that that's your pull. Like, you just feel like there's nowhere else you would want to be.
Yeah, and it's kind of like when I told this to my parents or my grandparents, it's like that's new from you. Like, we never heard this from you. And like they asked me like why, and I couldn't really tell them. It was just like there was no like one like big argument that I said. It was just like these little things that I like kind of felt. I was like, I want my kids to grow up like the way like I did, like in Israel.
But it's so crazy how like I mean I host like a lot of singles and people who aren't even affiliated, and they didn't even like consider themselves really Jewish. And then like the main thing, like since October 7th, a lot of them have been telling me, it's like, since October 7th, I just feel like I need to know like my roots. I need to know where I'm from. I want that connection. And like, I just need that connection. And I'm so curious what that pull is. And I'm always like trying to understand it. I'm like, why did October 7th cause this to happen? That you need to figure it out now.
I don't know. You tell us, right, Shaylee?
Do you know?
I don't know.
I'm still trying to figure out that thing. It's kind of like.
Do you think it was like the sense of community that everyone stepped in, and
like
it's like.
Yeah, it's
like,
also because when I go to Israel, when I'm in Israel, I know that if something happens to me, I can trust everyone that's there.
Right.
When
Here,
I'm here, no. I don't know.
You don't know who you could trust.
Like I'm going to a supermarket. I'm like people ask me like I'm afraid to start to talk to someone because I'm like they're gonna ask me where are you from, and then I'm starting like this
dialogue,
trying to like, should I tell this person, should I not tell this person, is it a safe place, like
right.
I don't.
You never know who you could trust.
Yeah.
So that's interesting because I don't feel that. I don't feel that here. Are you saying that because you know
No, but
you're
she's
an
saying,
Israeli?
1 minute, she's saying that she's Israeli.
She's Israeli.
So we're saying, like, where are you from? My parents are from Iran.
But
Like,
no, but we're
Jewish.
essentially we're Jewish, so we're on the same page.
Well, it
even though
depends.
she's from Israel, but we're on the same page. Do you feel that there's like, you know how they talk about anti-Semitism growing in America? I haven't seen it, but I know that there is.
right.
I mean, look at the
College
UCLA
campus. We're in
campuses.
UCLA right here.
Right.
No, thank God. Baruch Hashem, I did not either. Like, I have not seen that. So, but I think we felt it. There's been times that we felt it.
I guess like discriminated against.
You don't really like feel it like.
But it could be a psychological thing. I always question myself. I'm like, maybe it's psychological that I'm like, I just think everyone's staring at me because I'm wearing like my.
Right.
Honestly, though, no, I go out like I'm not embarrassed or
it's
scared
funny
of who
because
I am.
like I was getting into my car the other day and my neighbor who's not Jewish, she always says like, hi Rena, and I'm like, hi. And the other day she gave me like a hi Rena, and I was telling Atara, I was telling my daughter, I'm like, did you notice her hi Rena was just more like serious, and it wasn't like hi Rena as chirpy.
Yeah.
And she's like, what are you trying to say? I'm like, I think she might be an anti-Semite. Like, I don't know, what are they reading on the news about us? Like know. I almost want to go to her and be like, you can still say hi Rena. But yeah, we don't know what they're thinking. But I'm curious to know, moving forward, what are your future plans? So we know you're going back, and how do you feel about that? Because you are going back to a war, essentially.
Yeah.
And you're going to start. She's going to start services. Like you're going to be
in August, right?
In August. Is it you start training in August? Is that what it is?
So I'm gonna go back in August, and I don't know yet. I will know next month when is like my day that I'll dropped in the army, but. It's gonna be about like December. It's just because the position that I do, they only have like the recruitment on December, but most of my friends are gonna probably draft in September, October.
Okay.
So I'll have like a.
So you get the training though in December?
Yeah, in December.
So December, that's when it starts.
Yeah.
I'm also like, I feel like I have like a lot of like Hakar Tov. Like I'm so grateful to all the Israelis who go and they put themselves on the like front lines or like, and they're fighting and they're putting themselves to protect our country. And it's like, it's unreal. It's unreal. Like I have a friend, her husband is in the army, and like he was in the army from October 7th until recently, like a month ago. And then he's going back, he's taking a break and going back in August. And like these men are leaving their lives, their parnasa, I mean, I know they're getting paid, but like,
but very minimal. It's very minimal.
It's their salary. They're getting paid their salary.
Oh, the salary of what they were? Oh, it is like that? Oh,
I know that they're getting money. I don't know. I never heard of that's the salary, but I know they're not getting a lot. I think it's kind of like.
But then you're leaving your job.
There's a calculator that they have to kind of calculate the amount of that you get, but not everyone gets the same that I know.
Right, but they're leaving their job at the end of the day. You're leaving like your typical routine, their family, their wife, their children.
Yeah,
like they're leaving everything to protect our country, and like
it's so commendable.
We're all so grateful to them and to you. Like you're gonna be going.
That's another reason why we're so spoiled. We're like, what? Remember how I told you about my Gaza guest?
I
call them my Gaza guest.
Rena has to just say this quickly because it's hilarious. Can you quickly just say this? Sorry.
I was Friday night. I was outside with my kids. I lit the Shabbat candles, and I'm standing outside, and this like man pulls up with his car, and he says, "Excuse me, he says to me in Hebrew, "At garapo," and I said with my miftah, I said, "Ken, and garapo," and he says, "Okay, can you?" He tells me all this in Hebrew. He says, "I'm looking for a Chabad here," and I told him the Chabad is right across the street. You can park your car here. To make a long story short, he is in the car with his mom. He parks in front of my house, and I said, "Are you here from Israel?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm here. It's my last week before I'm going back to Gaza." And he was like fighting. He came back for a little break, and the reason why he left is because his mom wanted to like take him around for 2 weeks around America just to like have a little spend time with him, have a little vacation with him. And I looked at the mom, and I like, this is a heroic mom who's like, I put my hands on her, and I was like, wow, you're letting your son go back. And he was like only like 19. I said, you're letting him go back to Gaza. And like there's this like bloody war happening. And she says to me, Ken, ma'en lasot? And I said, but what about you? Like, how do you feel about it? And she said to me, like, this is our Medina. What, like, there's no question. And then she told me that her other 2 older sons are there. One of them got shot in the arm. And even with the shot in the arm, they dismissed him. They said, you have to leave because he didn't have an arm. They had to like, he was hospitalized and he pushed his way back in. And that, like, I was like, I don't understand. Like, why? Like, why and why? I had so many questions for her. And she was like, when you love your country so much and you love your people so much, there's just no questions. And this young boy also, like, he was just, was he afraid? Yeah.
This is what you're raised with from a young age, I'm sure. You could tell us.
Like the whole thing that they raise you is to be prepared for the army. It's like there's no question.
So when you go to school, like it's like, okay, when you go to the army, is it like that? Like instead of like
it's like they're doing it in like secret ways. When you're older, you understand. It's like, wow, that's like the whole thing was kind of like connected to the army. We talk a lot about the army mostly in the higher grades, in the high school, when you really start having all the tests to the army. But also, I'll tell you, like the scouts and also all the teens like activities that they have afternoon, all of them are kind of like this, like the army. Like we have uniforms that we have to wear every day, and like we have times, we have to be on times, like a lot of things. I'm like, wow, that's like
the army. They're prepping you.
It's like the army. So it's like you're preparing mentally, you're preparing physically, because to do that change drastically, it's really hard. It's really hard to like live on Israel and go into the army. It's like earth and like it's really different.
Right.
So we're like, people are trying to make this transition easy. Like in the scouts, we go a lot, like sleep outside, like really like sleep on the ground. Like so it's like not new for us. So like when you go to the army, nothing.
This is what you're trained for. This is what you're
like we did it. It's like it's like in the scouts. We say it's like in the scouts we did it too. Wow. So it's like a little bit more challenging, but it's like a lot of the things like we did before.
It's a preparation.
Yeah. So it's like kind of like.
So Shaylee, you're going into the army, and we never addressed your feelings. We talked about like how we feel, but I'm so curious to hear. Tell us your feelings about going into the army now in this day, 2024.
Well, I think they asked me also on the panel about this, like, am I scared about going? And I feel exactly the opposite. I swear I can.
Wow.
I can like send me right now. I'll join like right now. Like I can't wait. I'm like all what I'm thinking about is just joining in the army.
Wow.
And I feel weird to say it, but it's really 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 how I feel.
Wow.
I don't know. It's just
it's like they're programmed differently, right?
I feel I don't know. It's like if I would hear this, like when I was little, I was like I would not recognize myself, but. There's just this feeling that I can't explain. It's like, I really want to do it. For me, like, I would probably stay there for more than I have to, because...
You feel like it's your mission?
Yeah, I like it. That's...
How do your parents feel about it?
Well, I'm like the oldest child. I think they're very excited for me. I'm very excited too. No, they're scared, but they know that they can, like... They know they can trust me, that I'm in the participants, and they send me for 1 year, so it's for them it's like an easy to send me to the army, because they'll see me like for every couple of weeks and not for 1 year. But it's I feel exactly the opposite. I feel like, you know, my parents have been in the army and my grandparents, like now it's my turn. Like now it's my turn to serve the army and to serve the country and to do everything that I can to make my family and my friends feel safe. You know, when we're in Israel, we always like say like that our soldiers are keeping us safe. And now it's my time. Now it's my time to like do it for them, to make them feel safe. Like no children and nobody need to live in a fear, like a state of fear. I don't want them to, I don't make my kids or my brother and sister to live at home and like be scared.
Wow.
They shouldn't like.
Is your area relatively safe? I feel like Bnei Brak area is like, I know like Bnei Brak, Tel Aviv is usually pretty safe.
It's usually safe, but I think also kind of like when you have like the sirens, it's like a really mentally thing. Like, you know that the probability of it, of it hitting you, it's not that big. It can happen.
Yeah.
But it's mentally, like, it's
frightening. I don't think we've ever heard of it hitting a bomb
frightening.
Shelter. I feel like we have extra protection from Hashem, but you don't really hear of that, like hitting a bomb shelter.
It just hit a playground the other day. Did you not?
And no one was in it.
Yeah.
But
Hashem's protecting us.
But the siren made them go in, and then it hit the playground.
It wasn't because of the siren, it was because of something else.
Yeah.
Something else. It was like a windstorm or something. Like sandstorm.
No way.
It was something crazy, so they all ended up going inside the building, and then the siren went off, so they were like right there.
Oh
That's
my
like the whole thing.
gosh,
Yeah.
that's so crazy.
And like a lot of when on October 7th was Saturday, like, and they were shooting, and it hit a lot of schools in Ashkelon, and it was like so blessed that it was Saturday and the kids were not in school, because if it was any other day, it would be
terrible.
Like, terrible.
Yeah, because it's like impossible to get that many kids out of school.
Yeah, it would be terrible.
Wow.
But
Wow.
we were so lucky. But just like the sound of the sirens, it's
scary.
It's scary. When we were here and the whole thing started, every noise made us like
jump.
Yeah. We knew that there was no sirens here, but still something instantly it's like.
So you've never experienced anything in Israel that was this traumatic, right?
So where I live, we only like had sirens, but like still when you're there, you don't really feel like, yeah, it was like you kind of like move on, like you move forward, but it really like stays inside. Like it really like
you can't just brush it off.
No, you can't. You try to make like it fun. Oh, like
right, but it's scary.
But it's not. You're like, I remember I was like with my friends, like we were eating outside, and like there were started rockets and siren. Then we went into the kitchen, all of us. We're trying like to be happy and to smile, but I do like when I'm nervous, I'm laughing. That's the thing about me. I'm laughing when I'm nervous. I couldn't stop laughing because I was so nervous. I didn't really know this. I realized it later. But I remember we went out, and I like because we waited 10 minutes, we went out, and then we saw like the rockets. I was like, okay, never mind, we're going back.
You actually saw it. Wow.
Yeah, and then like there was another siren.
Oh my God.
And like that thing's like when I was there, I was like, oh yeah, it's like
it's normal.
Yeah, but then you realize like that was like I was actually scared, but I wasn't admitting that I was scared.
I mean, just knowing what these animals, I don't have any other words to say about these terrorists, but like knowing what they did on October 7th, that alone doesn't frighten you to know that these people are just, forget even servicing in the army, just like walking the streets of some parts in Israel where there's more like demographic, there's more like Arabs around or more terrorists around. You don't know who is and who isn't.
But I think at this point, a lot of them are really scared. No,
they are,
because the Israeli army got like they're on top again. So it's I think they're just scared.
I mean, every day there's like a stab or a shooting.
It depends more. There's a lot like in mostly the places that have more Arabs, like in Jerusalem, there are more. So there it is kind of scary. To go through.
But like you're not walking around like looking over your shoulder. I mean, that's how I was.
When you go to Israel, it's not how
I
you
did.
do.
I did.
Really?
I was the entire time.
You don't feel it when you're there.
I literally was like, and this is before the war. I didn't go past the war. I went before the war, and I was
you were
like,
looking over your shoulder.
Always
really?
looking over, especially during. I didn't know that most people don't do this. My husband forced me to, but we went down that Arab shuk down to the Kotel. That you're apparently
did
not
that
supposed
also.
to do that. I don't know. Apparently, it's like very not safe. And actually, when we get off air, I'll tell you a story because it really isn't safe. I'm just saying. But I'm always like walking around, like just looking, just because there's, I don't know, maybe it's a lack of bitachon, I don't know. But I just feel like these people are like wired differently. I don't know.
Yeah. No, for me, it's more of like when you're like you hear news about a certain place and you get scared. You know, like, you watch the news, it's really scary. But when you're there, you feel like.
You don't feel. Yeah.
Also, I grew up in Baltimore, and there's like shootings all the time. So everyone's like, "You're in Baltimore; it's so not safe." And it's like,
yeah, I don't know. I guess hearing the news and listening to what's going on maximizes it even more. Like it just makes it like a bigger deal.
Like, when we're in Israel, like people are like, it's so not safe, but I don't feel not safe. Like I don't think like my family like feels like really at war. Like they do feel they at war, but they don't feel like really not safe. And also like when I was here, I was like my friend called me like, what happened in UCLA? Like, are you safe? Like, is everything okay?
That's like, all the news.
I was like, I'm fine.
UCLA.
I'm fine. It's like, so it's the same thing.
Don't go driving outside. I'm like,
and they're so what you see on news is just like a really small part of what really happening.
Right. It's so funny because you're saying about Baltimore, like the shootings in Baltimore.
Yeah.
So I'm originally from here. I was born here. Particularly was born in Baltimore. When I lived in Baltimore also for like 7 years. And every time when I was living there, people would be like, from LA, oh my gosh, don't you have so many earthquakes? Like, it's so unsafe. And I'm like, are you, like, the last time I really was in an earthquake was when I was like 7. That was the biggest one. Like, I was 7 years old, and that was like the biggest one.
You always hear the news, and it seems scary.
It seems bigger, It seems bigger. Anyway, that was good. That was a great talk with you.
It was so
Shaylee.
nice to get to know you.
I'm really happy I did it. And I got to meet you too.
And we want to take this opportunity to like thank you from the bottom of our hearts for not only joining this podcast, but for also servicing our Medina and for doing it so wholeheartedly with all your passion. It's unreal. I really feel like, I don't know, there's no words. There's no words. There's no words for the love that you have for the country, and also the way that you mentioned for the people there. Like, you have to protect. This is like, this is who you are. Yeah. It's so commendable. Yeah. It
feels like it's like a part of my, like, it's a part of my life. I don't think that I'm doing like something different. Like, it doesn't feel that for me. It feels like what I'm supposed to do. So like,
I feel like it's such a good character trait of like, it's like selflessness. It's like, what are you talking about? It's not about me. It's about everyone else. It's
unreal.
It's like
so special.
Yeah, it's really
so
special.
We're so honored that you came to join us today.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thanks for tuning in to our Mommy Life Squad podcast.
And stay tuned for the next episode.